Let's go to LSU versus Arkansas. Can LSU slow down Taylen Green if he's healthy? Now, Taylen Green, Sam Pittman was asked about Taylen Green. He says, yeah, I hope that we can play. And then I've heard a lot of chatter from people that I very, very much trust saying that Taylen Green, the quarterback at Arkansas, is going to be ready to go. We're going to actually have a conversation with Ty Richardson of ESPN Arkansas tonight. If he's ready to go, great. If you're an Arkansas fan, is he 100% healthy? Is he ready to go? I don't know. But can LSU slow him down? You know, look, I think Taylen Green has had moments where he's shown flashes of really good things in the running game and in the passing game. I think he's also shown that he's very inconsistent in moments, right? Especially in the passing game. Look, there were, of the last 4 games that he played, 2 of them he was below 50% completion percentage. And I think for what it's worth, this LSU secondary has shown over the last couple of weeks, and especially last week versus Ole Miss, that they can do some really good things. You know, they picked off Jackson Dart. They got after Jackson Dart. They're 4th in the country in sacks. How does Taylen Green react to a pressure and a front 7 that brings as much pressure as LSU does? How banged up is he? I think we're going to find out early. But this is a very tough spot for LSU. Coming off an emotional win versus Ole Miss in overtime at Dead Valley, now you got to go on the road to Arkansas in a rivalry game. Now, listen, I cover LSU. I cover LSU. I talk about college football from a national perspective, and we're launching the SEC channel. So to Arkansas fans, here's what I tell you. LSU does not treat you as a rival the way that you treat us. They just don't. Now, this game might be a little bit different because Arkansas has been a little bit better this year, but they don't treat it like that. You're not the game that they get up for like that. They're going to have to this year because I think that you're good enough. Offensively, I think that the way that you run the football or Arkansas runs the football is going to be an interesting test for LSU. I think the physicality with the offensive line and the running back with Jackson and Taylon Green when he gets out in space, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Blake Baker and this team is able to combat the physicality. I don't know if LSU's played a team that's this physical offensively. I really don't. Now, I know you're going to laugh at this, you SEC fans. Maybe that is USC, but you could say, Blake, USC's a finesse team. No, if you watched any USC game this year, they went up against Penn State last week and punched Penn State right in the mouth running the football. It's not necessarily true. They win against Michigan. They punched Michigan right in the mouth running the football. I don't think that that's necessarily true. This is going to be a very physical game for LSU's front 7, who, quite honestly, the last 3 weeks has played pretty much lights out. You know, the last 2 weeks they've given up a right around, or last 2 games that they've played, they've given up right around 200 rushing yards total. They've been really good at getting to the ball carrier and tackling in space. I think we saw that against Ole Miss a week ago. Can they do that against big body backs? They didn't roll off the tongue really right. But can they do that is going to be a very big question. There is a question I do have about Arkansas's offense. Outside of Taylen Green being efficient in the passing game, which, again, I think he struggles and that LSU is going to give him struggles in the passing game. I have a massive question for Arkansas. Can you protect Taylen Green? Arkansas is 87th in the country in sacks allowed, and LSU is 4th in the country in total sacks. Guys, I think that that's going to be the area of what Blake Baker, the DC at LSU, goes after. I don't think that he feels like that your offensive line can hold up in certain situations, and I think he's going to come after you. Guys, I mean, go watch last week's game, and you're going to have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do. There have been moments, guys, where they've been able to drop back in coverage, and Braden Swinson, who is 5th in the country in sacks, 2nd in the SEC in sacks with 7, guys, they've been able to rush for, and Braden Swinson's been able to get home. And since they've been able to do that, it's made LSU a little bit more dangerous defensively. I know Harold Perkins is out, but other guys with him being out have stepped up. But then Blake Baker sends the heat. He's going to be in situations on third down where he's going to come after Taylen Green and make him make quick decisions on third and manageable type plays and third and long type plays. Guys, the safety for LSU last week had 2 sacks. And they're going to find ways to get after Taylen Green. I think if there's a massive area of concern, if I'm an Arkansas fan here, when LSU comes after Taylen Green, number one, can he get the football out in the right direction to make a good throw? Can he be accurate? Or can he get out of pressure situations and get positive yardage? Now I'm going to flip that. LSU is, in my humble opinion, they're going to get home on Arkansas. They're going to be able to get Taylen Green down to the ground. The problem is getting that big son of a gun down on the ground, right? Like, I mean, that kid is really athletic. He's a really good player. He's a really good quarterback. And there are a lot of things that he does that give you nightmares if you're a DC because of the way that he can scramble and run the football. If you're LSU, you got to gang tackle on him. You got to get to him and rally to him. You can't get out in coverage, but at the same time, you got to make sure that you're rallying to him. The environment in Arkansas, or Fayette Nam, as they call it, I think it's going to be insane. And I think that is going to propel Arkansas to keep this game very, very close. You know, on paper, you would say that LSU should win. Anybody in this rival knows, or anyone that loves either one of these teams know, this is going to be a close game, guys. It always is. Logic never defines this game, ever. But there's one thing of why I would lean LSU here. Oh, Blake, you cover LSU, whatever. Say whatever you want. The reason I would lean LSU, you can hate me all you want in saying this. I just think LSU, from an offensive perspective, can make better decisions. And I don't think that Arkansas has been tested like this, or defensively. You know, I look at the A&M game and where they ran the football very effectively. That is true. And A&M's a very physical football team. I'm interested to see this secondary. You know, I look at Arkansas and their secondary and what they've done so far this year. Guys, Arkansas in passing yards allowed is 69th. And a team that's coming in here who's only given up 2 sacks all season, they're going to want to come in here and run and throw the football around. They have weapons. By the way, LSU's finally potentially getting some weapons back on the offensive side of things. How does your secondary hold up? I think is a big question. The thing that I continue to have in the back of my mind is that if Marcel Reed can have success, Garrett Nussmeier is going to have success in the passing game. I think that is. I don't want to say that that's an easy thing to say, but it feels like that is true.